Hello everybody, video here for you today. This is the retro no cap recap of The Curse of Oak Island season 8 episode 17 called Staking Their Claim. Originally aired March 9th, 2021. If you missed any of my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to my Oak Island playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously on The Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 230 years. Former president of the New England Antiquities Research Association, Terry DeVoe, visits the road in the man-made swamp and says that when he sees stone roads with this many layers and fortification, it's always for the purpose of conveying heavy loads. He says it's also highly likely that there would have been a dock further into the bay. Terry previously showed Rick and Marty a Knights Templar cross carved into a stone 140 miles from Oak Island. He believes the carving and the stone road to be from the same time period, at least 500 years prior, in the 1500s or earlier. In the war room, Marty and Craig discuss the current drilling program in which they are tracking an 87-foot deep tunnel not documented by previous searchers. They've drilled into it in several boreholes. Wood from the tunnel dated 1648 to 1694. The latter date is 101 years before the discovery of the money pit in 1795. They decide to continue drilling to follow the tunnel. Rick and Gary return to Lot 25, site of the Samuel Ball House Foundation. Ball was an escaped slave that fought for the British military in return for freedom. After the war, Ball traveled to Nova Scotia, eventually buying lots on the island, pursuing cabbage farming, and becoming one of the wealthiest landowners in the province. Many believe that cabbage was not his only source of income and that he had found some treasure on Oak Island. He was named as one of the 3 finders of the original money pit shaft in an early local publication, but all other documentation credits John Smith instead. Since the Ball Foundation is a protected landmark, Gary has previously metal detected and marked finds with flags. In accordance with local regulation, archaeologist Laird Niven has given approval to dig those items. The first one is a large copper coin that Gary dates to the 1730s. The next one is a topper of a cane or riding crop. It has a crown engraved on it, so perhaps it's related to Ball's service in the English military. Since he is not known to have become an officer, another theory posited by narrator Robert Clotworthy is that he could have been visited on the island by an officer. Also, English Captain James Anderson owned Lot 26 until 1788 when he sold it to Ball. Gary is confident that the design of the engraving will identify it further. Not in the episode, but from this B. Stanton research I found on the internet, Ball bought Lot 25 in 1787, 4 years after the war ended. He bought Lot 26 the next year. He was granted Lot 32 by the province due to his service in the English military in 1807, 24 years after the war ended. I guess there was red tape back then as well. Stanton's intro graphic here also shows that he eventually owned 9 lots on the island, as well as Hook Island to the south and a 100-acre lot on the mainland. Who did not live there? In the money pit area, the new borehole reveals part of a wood beam from 78 feet depth. Since it's 9 feet above the previous discovered tunnel depth, it could be a connected shaft. At the tunnel depth of 87 feet, there are only small chunks of wood, so Terry thinks they intersected the edge of the tunnel or there was a collapse. In the uplands on the eastern edge of the swamp, the team is continuing to follow the cobble path that branches off and heads northwest from the stone road. Dr. Spooner wants to continue excavating this bank. He says that the red staining is an old fire pit and that there is charcoal in it. He has no doubt that it is related to the building of the cobble path. Marty and Gary visit Doug in the research center. He has cleaned the cane topper. A crown and rose has long been a symbol of the English crown. Doug has so far not been able to identify it. Marty takes his first good look at it and says he thinks it's gilded, which means topped with a thin layer of gold leaf. Gary arrives at the path excavation to metal detect the spoils. He says this looks like a good place to start, and immediately the detector beeps. It ends up being this iron item. Thinking about the path context, Gary says it could be part of a cart axle, and that it being irregular and not machine made would indicate older. He has previously found ox shoes on the path and several other places on the island. Other recent finds on the path were a ring bolt and parts of keg barrels. In the war room via video conferencing, Rick, Marty, and members of the team meet with Sarah McInnes, a historian from the Fortress of Louisburg National Historical Site, located 300 miles northeast of Oak Island. Rick and Doug met Sarah when they visited the fortress that was completed by the French in 1740 as they battled with Great Britain for control of Nova Scotia. With 2 miles of stone walls as much as 30 feet high and 8 feet thick, as well as a vast tunnel system beneath, the fortress is considered a monument to military engineering prowess of the time. The Laguna team is also interested in Louisburg because it once housed a large cache of treasure that went missing in the mid-1700s. The team is seeking Sarah's opinion on some of the recent artifacts found. She says that they have one of the largest, if not the largest, archaeological collections in Nova Scotia at Louisburg. Sarah has compared photographs of the Oak Island finds to objects in that collection. She has not seen anything similar to the design of the cane topper. Laird weighs in for the first time that we see and says that he thinks it's too small to be a cane topper and that it could be a lipstick cover. The ox shoes found in this season 8 are a match for the ones at Louisburg. Back at the path excavation spoils pile, Gary finds a rose head spike. Being hand forged and heavy, it's older. A very similar rose head spike was found earlier this season 8 in the spoils of borehole OC1 that intersected a tunnel dated to 1706. Marty arrives with a shovel to assist in the excavation, and Aaron has him dig on the swamp side to try to find the boundary. It pays off as Marty finds this stake. Aaron said this is likely a survey stake. They will get carbon dating on it. Marty says it's not as good as the steak he had for dinner the previous night. Aaron yes ands Marty by saying that he doesn't have a beef with it. I'll be continuing retro no-cap recaps of Season 8 this summer while awaiting Season 13, which will likely begin in November. I'm also working on a pre-season special that will probably be on YouTube sometime in August. All other seasons and episodes are in my Oak Island playlist already. I'm also doing no-cap recaps of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch Season 6 and no-cap recaps of Seasons 2 through 4. Seasons 1, 5, and the aired episodes of Season 6 and Season 2 through Episode 5 are done and are in that Skinwalker Ranch playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Sempre avanti.